Kelsey, you are the youngest at BoatU.S magazine, which, by the way, is one of my favorite reads and always has been. One of the few actual magazines that I still get. There's something about BoatU.S magazine that you just wanted in hard copy.
We hear that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
We hear people say all the time that it's one of the only magazines that they still subscribe to, that it's one of the main reasons that they're BoatU.S members in the first place, of all the member benefits, that their number one pick is the magazine, and that people just love the print, the physical.
You want to sit on the bow of your boat on a nice summer's afternoon on the water, and you want to flip through the magazine.
It's something different.
You don't want to, you get your phone, your device, you're trying to read off your device, it's bright, it's sunny. I love it. Tell me about the first time you picked it up. When was the first time you got your hands on BoatU.S magazine?
Honestly, it's probably been floating around my life ever since I was a little kid.
Same here.
Yeah, I grew up boating, and my childhood home was always full of boating magazines. I was a big Good Old Boat person when I was a little kid, and this was just one of those magazines that was always just around the house, on the coffee table, something to pick up and flip through, or on the nav desk of whatever boat we were taking out that day. It's just been around my life.
What is your title at the magazine?
I am the associate editor at Current.
Associate editor. Tell me about your favorite article.
That I've written?
Yeah.
So my favorite article that I've written is probably a feature that I wrote on Cole Brower.
Oh, she's fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was right after she had just finished her big around the world race, and she had just catapulted onto the world stage and become this social media sensation. And all the editors got together, and we decided we've got to cover this woman. And I put my hand up right away, and all the editors said, yeah, you seem like a good person to write this one.
I would agree. I think I would have agreed there, but that's a great score for you, right?
Yes, I think it was one of my first, if not my first big feature in the magazine, and I just had such a good time, really digging into the research about her life before this race, too. I wanted to paint her as a whole person, not someone who just dropped onto the planet when she did this race, and gathering all the imagery from her social media. I think it came together really beautifully, and it was just really fun to really get in depth with her story and tell it.
So what was the one nugget that you took from that article that made you say, wow, she's fascinating? Was there anything that jumped out at you in the research?
What jumped out to me was the way that she presented herself on social media as a whole person, as vulnerable. Because in this race that she did, it's just rugged. It's just like, the Everest of the seas, being out on the ocean by yourself around the world nonstop. That's like a very tough thing to do. And a lot of people who if you watch documentaries about round the world races, everyone just looks miserable. They're like fighting for their lives out there, and she's out there dancing.
Yeah.
And then the next day she's crying, and she's sharing all of that. And I thought that was particularly revolutionary in a sport that's just so rugged and tough. She's out here just putting her emotions out there for people to see.
So as youngest on the masthead of this magazine, do you know the history?
I know some history. I took over this job after my predecessor retired, and she had been at BoatU.S for, I want to say, 30 years.
Wow.
And so when she left, she imparted upon me a lot of the history that she was keeping. And so BoatU.S has been around for longer than BoatU.S magazine. BoatU.S stands for Boat Owners Association of the United States, so we're a membership association. Mm-hmm. The magazine really started out kind of as a newsletter. We were doing these BoatU.S reports. We also had BoatU.S Seaworthy, and it was all these kind of smaller, shorter publications that were news and safety tidbits.
And this is pre-internet.
Yes, this
obviously.
Was the
this
80s, the 90s.
Was a letter
yes.
that was mailed to you.
Yes,
a publication.
And in newspaper format too. Right. And so that was content that was really based in BoatU.S's mission as a safety organization and as an insurance organization, really informing people about, hey, these are the things that are causing insurance claims on boats, and we know that because we have the data, and talking about all sorts of legislation that was affecting boaters. It was really that just core news. And then it grew into this much larger, full color, beautiful magazine. Obviously, we're still very rooted in safety and education,
Right.
but we get to, on top of that, have these beautiful lifestyle features to inspire people.
Have you ever brought a story idea to the team and said, from a younger person's perspective, I think this is going to be a great article? And have they gone, yeah, well, and I'm sure they've either said yay or nay on it, right?
Well, that happens all the time. I mean, we're a very collaborative group, and so all the editors will pitch things that get, oh, maybe not right now, or it's not the right time for, or maybe flesh that idea out a little more before we, fully send it through. Our process is very rigorous. People might not realize just how rigorous our editorial process is, but every idea bounces around pretty much all the editors before it even gets the green light to be written. And then once it's written, it'll bounce through all the editors again. But no, I've definitely had ideas that I've said, I think as a younger person, that this would be a great thing to write. And sometimes I get the green light, sometimes I don't. That's just part of it.
Yeah, and it is certainly, the magazine is morphed now onto the social platforms and the website. So there's plenty of places to get the content.
Yes. You can find almost any article that's in the print magazine on our website. And then we've also got this huge library of how-to and DIY and safety videos that our managing editor, Stacy, does an excellent job producing. And we've also got social media channels, and some of our articles make it up on, Instagram, Facebook, all those other places too.
And you provide the content for At the Helm on the Drift every month,
yes.
which is great. It's awesome to share that. Certainly.
Yeah.
Tell me about how the magazine's used to convey some of the BoatU.S Foundation information that's so important.
So in the front of the magazine, we divide the magazine, the book, into kind of three major sections. There's the front section, which is our stakeholder section, and then there's the middle, which is all of our features. And then the back is our practical boater. That's all of our DIY how-to seamanship.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
See, I learned this. Usually I just flip through and I'm like, so there's a method to all of this.
And so that front of the book, that's kind of our stakeholder section, there's a BoatU.S Foundation column that is in every single issue. And so that is the best place to get the news about the foundation. I think in this one, or maybe the next one that hasn't come out yet, we're going to have a really big article about this ADV, Abandoned Derelict Vessels grant, that the foundation has been doing a ton of work on. They've got millions of dollars that they're dispersing to local groups to help clean up waterways. And so that section has news, and it also has, maybe a year ago, we did a giant review of all these inflatable life jackets. We did sort of a summary of, okay, they came out a couple decades ago. Here's where they really stand on their safety and how much they've improved over the past couple of decades. So it's that really rigorous information.
It's so refreshing to see a publication that's still around doing this in-depth kind of research and reporting. There's so much out there that just gets slapped onto social and onto the internet. And it doesn't have the roots that this magazine has. I mean, this is a pleasure to read, and the information is fantastic.
And I think people appreciate that. I think that's one of the reasons that so many people still get it in print, because BoatU.S has over 700,000 members. Every single member receives the magazine, and when you sign up for a membership, you can opt between if you want print or digital. So you can get this digitally. But of the over 700,000 members, 625,000 of them opt for print instead of digital.
That says
and I think
something.
that's part of the reason.
Yeah. And it's a quality piece too.
Yes.
I mean, it feels good.
It's a nice paper.
Yeah, no, it sure is. And there's a difference. I mean, you can cut a lot of costs if you went with a less quality paper and print, and the imagery is amazing. They have photographers on staff, or
we've got some hobbyist photographers on staff, but we don't have any dedicated photographers. We make a lot of we've got a couple of contributing photographers that we maintain relationships with, but some of these come from our members. The other magazine, this one, was a photo that was taken by a member. This wasn't even someone that
this
this wasn't someone that we knew previously, just said, hey, I have this picture. And we were like, wow, that's going to go on the cover.
That's a cover. And then you do some member photo contests as well. I've seen that come across.
Once every 2 years, we'll do a big member photo contest. And I think that's how we originally found that photographer. He had sent in some photos for the contest, and then he just sent this one in out of the blue on top
cover
of it.
of BoatU.S magazine. That's when you've got a frame for the wall, right?
I know.
Tell me about some of the other articles in the magazines, like some of the other. I shouldn't say articles. What am I reaching for? I'll edit this. Some of the other. Each section?
The sections. Yeah.
Section. All right, I'll pick that up again. All right, what about some of the other sections in the magazine?
Yeah, so in that front of the book section, our stakeholder section, besides the foundation updates, you can also find updates on government affairs. So that's what our dedicated government affairs team is up to, what they're lobbying for on Capitol Hill. There's a lot of things in boating that we can sometimes take for granted because they've been that way for a long time. One example is there's a trust fund that basically, when you register your boat or you pay taxes on fuel, all that stuff gets recycled and put back into boating. It can't, go to some other public service. And that was one of the things that BoatU.S originally advocated for, decades ago. And we work every year to make sure that gets renewed so that when you pay taxes on your fuel at a marina, those taxes will go back into keeping our waterways accessible. So we've got that column that will cover news like that. We cover just news in general. We try and, make sure that we can pick things up from all over the country. If there's something going on in boating in California, we want to know about it. If there's something going on in boating in Florida, we want to know about it, and we want to inform people about it. The middle section, the features, those are really the stars of the magazine. Those are our big photography. There's no ads, shoved in between the features, and those are lifestyle stories and personalities that we get from, our editors write some of them, but we also have a whole bunch of contributors that will contribute these personalities and just sort of vivid inspiration stories. And then at the back is our practical boater section, which is our most popular section. And that one is really expert informed. We have a panel of genuine field experts that help inform articles about installing things, maintaining things, fixing things, boat handling. That group includes, marine surveyors and all of these experts that make sure that information is really top notch.
What I really like about it is you don't find a lot of advertorials in here. You don't find any.
Yeah,
frankly.
We don't do any
your reporting
advertorial.
is real in-depth reporting, and your ads are ads.
Yep.
And it's a good, healthy balance of both. Awesome. Kelsey, you said the person you replaced was at BoatU.S for 30 years. You're young. Let's spend 30 years there because you do great work, and we really enjoy the magazine.
Well, thank you. I really enjoy being there. I feel really lucky to have found a career writing about boats is something that I never could have imagined even just a couple years ago. It's people will ask me, oh, what do you do for work? Oh, I write about boats. And they're like, how'd you manage to do that for a career? And I go, I don't know, but I'm lucky that I do.
And the best way, if you're a boater and own a boat, the best way to get BoatU.S magazine is to get a BoatU.S membership, obviously. Yes. And certainly you should have a towboat.US membership, best money spent on the water. And even if you just like to read about boats, right? Get the membership and you get the magazine.
Yeah, and we make sure there's something for everyone. We make sure that whether you have a 15-foot boat or a 75-foot boat, there's going to be stuff for you in there. Whether you're sail, power, fishing, water skiing, whatever it is you do, we make sure that we have content that's going to appeal to you.
Awesome, Kelsey. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.